The GameStop stock split didn't cause the mother of all short squeezes, but why not? How did the hedgies kick the can this time around? And have they kicked the can permanently, or have they once and for all slipped up and exposed their true crimes? Well, stay tuned and let's make some money. And I want to dive straight in with the key information. So, I want to start by talking about what I thought was going to happen as a result of the GameStop stock split. I said this in a video a few weeks ago, before the split officially happened. While I did say the GameStop stock split was absolutely a catalyst for the mother of all short squeezes, I did have a thought or an inkling that these hedge funds, these market makers and these trading platforms would somehow find a way around the split. What seems to have happened is that GameStop has issued these new shares to ComputerShare. ComputerShare has then distributed them to the DTCC to be allocated amongst all of the trading platforms. It seems the DTCC may be complicit in these crimes and has carefully allocated these split shares to these platforms on an individual one-at-a-time basis. These trading platforms, these hedge funds, these market makers, these institutions, and maybe even the big banks have all collaborated and have effectively been playing hot potato or pass the parcel with the limited amount of split shares that were newly issued. The DTCC seems to have been going around and allocating these split shares to one individual broker. Let's take Charles Schwab as an example. Charles Schwab then books out all of these shares to their users and then hands them off to the next trading platform. Maybe it was Webull, maybe it was Robinhood, maybe it was TD Ameritrade or one of the other platforms. Each of these platforms has then taken it in turns to receive these split shares into their books, allocate them to the customers, and then pass them on like nothing had ever happened. Now, it seems like these trading platforms and these market makers have avoided the mother of all short squeezes, but I think it's just exacerbated the problem, made it worse, and finally exposed their true crimes. Whiteman tweeted saying, "My thoughts on today." He said ComputerShare, the GameStop transfer agent, sent a finite amount of newly issued dividend shares to the DTCC clearinghouse to disperse to various brokerages around the world. But, huge problem bro, they don't have enough shares and each of these brokers hasn't received their own individual unique shares. He's then posted this photo that suggests that every single stock and every single unique share has their own CUSIP or CUSIP identification number. He said instead of properly issuing the dividend shares, Fidelity and other brokerages, especially the German ones, say we're just going to do a regular stock split. They say that way it doesn't mess with our books and that way they can use the same CUSIP number for each individual share. That way they don't need multiple individual different shares with separate CUSIP numbers. They can effectively take one individual share and split it using the same CUSIP number. Whiteman said Fidelity treating the stock split as a regular split instead of a dividend split matters because every single share has an individual CUSIP number. Regular splits just split the shares. All 4 shares retain the same CUSIP and nothing needs to be changed on the books. But dividend shares are distributed by the transfer agent ComputerShare to give the DTCC the clearinghouse, who has to disperse these newly issued finite dividend shares with new CUSIP numbers to the various brokerages around the world. But obviously, as there's only a finite amount, it means if these brokerages were creating synthetic shares, then they're all effectively screwed, and Ryan Cohen is probably laughing. If Ryan Cohen can prove the DTCC requested these brokers to treat the splividend as a stock split and not as a true stock dividend and use the same individual CUSIP identification number instead of creating separate shares with separate numbers, then Ryan Cohen has all the proof he needs to expose these crimes once and for all. On top of this, Dave Lauer tweeted saying it sounds like the GameStop stock split or stock dividend or splividend has completely destroyed some brokers' back office systems. He said, "I keep hearing about the nightmare of dealing with TD Ameritrade." He said it also sounds like overseas brokers are having serious problems as well, and German brokers are struggling getting those shares to the people. And he said, "People keep asking me whether this is the first split as a dividend and why brokers are having such problems." He replied saying it's not the first, but it's also not normal, very much an edge individual case. And he added, I think generally with GameStop we've seen a lot of back office problems, such as spikes in FTDs or failed to delivers, and he said it is possible that distributing the split as a dividend has exposed a lot more problems in how brokers are booking and holding shares for their customers. FINRA should investigate. And he says even when shares are received, some people report that the brokers treated them as trades, not as a split. aka the brokers bought those shares from another brokerages because they couldn't receive actual individual shares. And he said if the broker underinvestments in back office systems cause tax implications for their clients, that's a huge problem. Not only are tax implications a huge problem, but it also exposes these crimes that are being occurred as these brokers are trying to cover up the stock splividend and cover up these individual CUSIP numbers by just splitting the same shares and keeping the exact same CUSIP identification number. And Benji tweeted saying, "Oh my god, the splividend worked. Chaos is incoming." This is a conversation between a GameStop stockholder and Fidelity's live chat, and Fidelity said that GameStop issued a stock split. The only option was to receive the split shares. He said companies occasionally issue dividends when the investor may choose between additional shares or a cash dividend. GameStop chose to split their shares instead. The GameStop shareholder replied saying, well, in their filing, GameStop stated that it would be a dividend. What would the reasoning be for Fidelity to disregard a corporate action? The Fidelity live chat user then instantly ended the session and also left the chat, obviously in an attempt to not implicate himself further and to not expose those true crimes. On top of this, many German users received an email from their brokerage saying the stock split in this class is correct and there will be no cancellation or need for a cancellation. They said the rumours circulating in the market that this capital measure is a stock dividend are false. The German live chat user stated that he was told by Clearstream that the DTCC told them that what is happening is a regular stock split and not a stock dividend. So it seems the DTCC is also complicit and is actually telling these brokerages, like these German brokers, like TD Ameritrade, like Fidelity, to treat it as a stock split and to keep the same individual CUSIP number and to not issue new numbers. Chuck obviously tweeted saying, "You're a joke, DTCC. GameStop made it quite clear how they were issuing their splividend, and you either knowingly or unknowingly played a part in misinforming brokers. Not sure which is worse." He added by saying, "This is unacceptable and you look complicit." Now, Cat Striker has actually believed the DTCC is complicit for some time. The other week she printed out flyers suggesting that the DTCC is indeed complicit and stuck these flyers all over the DTCC building in Dallas, Texas. You can see here from these flyers that Cat Striker believes the DTCC stands for Disgraceful Thieving Complicit Committee. On top of this, User of Intellect said it looks like GameStop is about to break the system. They said it appears GameStop, or rather the mastermind Ryan Cohen, is holding the brokers hostage over the split dividend. And they said so it seems the DTC is the ones responsible for this mess, and it seems Ryan Cohen predicted that this would happen. Checkmate. From GameStop's official splividend documentation, they said the Depository Trust Company is expected to serve as the depository. They said, "We expect that the depository, upon receipt of any payment of principal, premium interest, dividend or other amount in respect of a permanent global security representing of such securities, will immediately credit its participants' accounts with such securities." Basically saying we expect the DTCC to deliver the split as a dividend and not to issue a stock split in its place. GameStop gave very clear instructions to the DTCC, and it seems like the DTCC may have violated those same instructions. And if that is the case, then as King Diamond Hand says, if there is evidence of counterfeit shares or if there is evidence of the DTCC doing the wrong thing, GameStop may now issue a share recall. So while it seems like these trading platforms, these hedge funds, these market makers and institutions may have escaped and kicked the can temporarily by playing hot potato or pass the parcel with these shares and treating the stock dividend like a stock split and keeping the same identification number, they may have ended themselves in more trouble than they initially were in. if they've violated their fiduciary duties by issuing the splividend or stock dividend instead as a stock split, keeping the same CUSIP identification number instead of creating many new shares with new CUSIP identification numbers, then it really just exposes their true crimes. This gives Ryan Cohen actual proof that the DTCC and these trading platforms have violated their fiduciary duties. It doesn't expose these hidden synthetic shares or these counterfeit shares, but it does suggest that these platforms have violated their duties and gives Ryan Cohen the right and the ability to issue a share recall. As Sith Balsakia says, now the DTCC is in breach of their contract. Now Ryan Cohen is legally allowed to pull the shares from the DTCC. If Ryan Cohen pulls the shares from the DTCC and issues this share recall, all of the shorts, both legit shorts and the synthetic shorts, must forcibly be closed out of their positions and the true shares returned. Ryan Cohen could trade Gamestop on a separate stock exchange in a different country, or could create a blockchain stock exchange and trade it there instead. But regardless of what Ryan Cohen decides to do, if he issues this share recall, the shorts must forcibly close out of their positions. And therefore these shorts may have actually ended themselves in more trouble than they originally started in, and may have legally breached contracts and fiduciary duties. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.